All right, we're good to go now.
You're good to go?
Yes.
Okay. I just can't see my video here. Oh, video. There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. Sorry about the delay. I'll call this meeting to order at 7:01, and I'll read the land acknowledgement. The city of Thorold is situated on treaty land. The land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Haudenosaunee, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The city of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. Okay, is there any declaration of conflict of interest? Seeing none, I'll move on. If we can get a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda.
Be pleased to so move.
What's that? You got that, Justin? And we got a
Who moved in second?
we got a mover. I think George had his hand up and Bob had his hand up.
Okay.
All those in favor? I think that's passed. I thought everybody's hands up. Adoption of the minutes. Parks and Trails 2025, May 5th. Can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes? I see Jeff's hand up. Anybody else? Bob again. I can't see everybody. Sorry, I'll have to go to a different screen here, maybe.
I see Peter and Sean, if you want to pick one.
Sure. Peter?
Okay.
All those in favor? Opposed? I think we're good. All right. So I'll go on to correspondence. Does somebody want to talk about this, Justin, or?
It's more of an FYI if you just want to read what it says there, because we talked about it at the last meeting. But if people have questions, they certainly can ask.
So the live barn implementation at the Frank Doherty Arena. At our last meeting, council passed the report 2022-2025 regarding live barn implementation at the Frank Doherty Arena. Any questions on that? I don't see anybody. Okay, just for your information, that was very exciting. Good to hear. 10 years too late for me, but good to hear. Selection. I don't know how to do this, Justin, but we're gonna.
You can pass it to me, and I'll explain if you wish.
Okay, if you can explain it, but I have a request as well. So
sure,
go ahead.
So to start, we have a vacancy in the chair position. However, there is one member of this committee who wishes to stand for that position, but she wasn't able to be here today, so she can't be nominated. So it's up to the committee. They can continue without that person and go with the chair position, or this could be deferred if that is what the committee wishes to a future meeting. Councillor Sentence?
I think in fairness, we don't, that we should defer this. So I'd like to, I don't know if I can put a motion forward or somebody can, but I think we should defer this, and I don't know who else is interested, but in fairness, I think we should defer it. My thoughts.
I have Councillor Sentence on a mover. Is there a seconder for that? I got Peter. There's no debate on a deferral, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? That's carried. So that will be moved to our next meeting for the selection of a chair. And we'll move on now. Councillor Sentence, back to you at number 8 on the agenda.
Okay, so we're on to number 8, committee business, portable washrooms along the canal trail. I see Peter added this. Do you want to speak to that, Peter?
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, so just along the canal trail as I was enjoying it, because it is a wonderful piece of architecture that we have in our city. There from what I would say is from I get on right at the Thorold, like at what is that, Lock 7, where the tourism center is. And if I head going in towards Port Colborne, there is only one washroom on the whole trail. And that I've come across. And what I would say, that's probably I traveled it probably the length of 30 kilometers, and there's only one washroom on the whole trail, and that is at Allenberg Park. And other than that, there is no other opportunity for a member of the public to sort of, have access to a facility. And I was just wondering, through you, I guess, acting chair councillor, if there's an opportunity for us to think about that, address that, or possibly even provide some additional portable bathrooms.
So I think it's a great idea. Oh, there's Dave. There you go. I was going to ask if Dave, come on, let us have it, Dave.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Councillor. To Peter. Peter, we do have bathrooms at Lock 7, so you're correct where you get on. You would have a facility there. You're correct in saying 2 at Allenberg at the baseball diamond, so right around Bridge 11. There's also one at the ferry dock on the west side of Port Robinson, so right at the where you would cross the ferry from the west side to the east side. There's a portable there, like a portable unit there, as well as on the east side of Port Robinson. There's one at Port Robinson Park. It's an actual building unit for our baseball diamonds out there as well. So it's just there is one at so 4 total along our length of our 13 kilometers of trails.
Okay,
thank you.
Go ahead, Peter. Respond or
yeah, just I'll just and again I'll just say, so I mean, the one, I guess I got to go across using the ferry to get to that one. I didn't know, but the one at the dock, I rode right by it. It was, I don't know, maybe I just didn't see it and I got to look harder, but I could not. If you're telling me it's there, Dave, I believe you, and it's good to know. But I was riding with a couple of people, and none of us saw it. So if it was me by myself, I think, yeah, Dave, I'm probably a little stunned, and maybe that's true. But none of us could see it. There was 3 of us, and none of us could find it. So I don't know. I'll look harder.
Go ahead, Dave. Dave Baldoni, and then we'll go to David Cripps.
Thank you through your councillor. So at the Port Robinson Ferry west side, so that is sort of, I'll call it the Welland side of Port Robinson, for those who aren't familiar. The portable unit there does not look like a porta potty. It's sort of in a built up shelter. It's like they've sort of camouflaged it with a wooden structure around it, but in that wooden structure there is a portable unit, serviced portable unit. So thank you.
Thank you, Dave. David Cripps.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The purpose of an advisory committee fundamentally is we're representative of the 25,000 who call Thorold home, and to sort of give our thoughts and feelings so that multiple elected officials can hear them, and then hopefully take that, as demand and then guide the corporation and the community forward from there. I really like where Peter's coming from on this one. I say, with some experience behind me, that bathrooms on trails, Thorold kind of has this unique opportunity because our trails hit human populations and then adjacent to population centers in many locations. Here we are. We've got consultants looking at the major new trail addition, which is probably the single most likely reason I joined this group myself, to try to help get some more trails built. That's kind of my thing and my piece. And I think, although I respect the answers given by staff, you know, to say I live near walking distance to Lock 7, and that's my entry point too. I'm a couple blocks away, and you know that building is open 4 months a year, and what, 20 hours a week? Not that many. I think I might be rounding up. The internet would tell us, but something like that. It's not even, you couldn't even describe it as like permanent part-time. So it's certainly very limited access. Ultimately, town staff build capital budgets based on what's in a 10 and 20-year capital plan. And what's in the 10 and 20-year capital plan is approved by council. So if they hear some desire from us collectively to either ask staff to go back and write reports about where might more bathrooms be appropriate, and as we build these trails to reflect like a huge growth in population, I think it's almost criminal to not be at least conceiving of more bathrooms. It's not like we need one every 50 meters, and they do bring permanent costs because ultimately either staff or a contractor has to clean them periodically. But, you know, it's just a seasonal clear, and it's a big value added. And you can't really talk about accessibility and making something accessible if you don't have bathrooms. One of two genders can at least go in a bush, but that's 50% of the population that can't, and then people with mobility challenges and right? So I really think this is a big value add. And if this committee, if it's the will of this committee, I think coming up with some sort of powerful statement and recommendation would be a good use of our time. And that doesn't instantly mean anything changes, but ultimately, you know, if the message is conveyed ultimately to full council, or it results in a staff report, then that'll end up going to council. And there's a chance to write that in 3 years from now in the capital plan, 2 years, 5, whatever that is. I can also say from my day job that the neighbor in Pelham has had success getting grants for public bathrooms, and we've built 2 new ones over the last 6 years. So like that is a thing that upper governments will fund or will partially fund. So it's not like we're all entirely going to Thorold. Not that I think it's an inappropriate use of taxpayer funds, because frankly it isn't. But the recent history of our neighbors suggests that you can, in fact, get pretty healthy subsidies towards public bathrooms. So with all of that said, I'd love to see, I wouldn't mind Justin's advice on, since I'm not entirely familiar with how Thorold operates, but whether that's simply something in the minutes, I would hope some sort of referral, or ultimately I'd love an elected official or two, a HEM, to ultimately kind of bring a motion and have council direct staff to write a report, you know, and or suggest where in a capital plan that might go. But if it doesn't end up in a capital plan, it never happens. That's absolutely on how council functions and the corporation functions, and they're looking for advice from us. So I got to tell you, there aren't too many things I think we could do that would be more valuable than trying to recommend at least studying a couple of bathrooms, particularly when we've got consultants looking at where we're going to build the next. I went online and put my votes in about where I thought how the trail should look. I hope most of the rest of us have. Shameless plug. But I think this is time really well spent. And I'll get off my soapbox, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak. And I'd be happy to support motion or direction or whatever that, whatever Justin thinks might work, or Councillor Sentence or whomever. Thank you.
Well said. I see. Oh, I know I got a couple people here that are going to agree with you, because I know Cheryl and George have talked about these before. I think I talked with you guys before. But Justin, do you want to give us some guidance, or is it just at the end you want to help us out?
Unless Dave has anything else to add about it, but the committee can also pass a motion that perhaps staff write a report about potentially adding more washrooms along that trail. But I'd suggest obviously getting other people to speak first and see.
Yeah, okay. I saw Cheryl's hand first, so go ahead. I see you, Jeff. I'll get to you next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And it's true, I have brought this up before. Bathrooms are close to my heart. And it's not just along the trail. Even though we do have some permanent washroom facilities in some of our public parks, they're frequently closed. And people use parks and trails 12 months of the year, early in the morning or maybe later on in the afternoon. So with people with young families would find it very, very helpful to have a porta potty. And you know, people who are just walking very early in the morning before staff might have had a chance to open washrooms, or when washrooms can't be opened because of the cold weather. So I would advocate even broadening our request to do a little bit of a look at some of the parks, Sullivan Park, um, other areas, other trails that we have, DQ, that sort of thing.
More of a wider scope of where we could put washrooms.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl. Jeff?
I just want to reinforce everything I've heard. I think it's really good value added as well. I thank Peter for flagging this and bringing this to committee for discussion. And I like Cheryl's idea of a broader systematic look at this. And yeah, I'm fully supportive. That's all. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else I'm not seeing that wants us to talk about this? No? Okay. Oh, there's George. All right. I was waiting for you, George. Go ahead.
I again, I agree with everything that I've heard here. And when the motion is made, if we could just make an inclusion in that if staff is unaware that federal or provincial funding is available for the washrooms, that perhaps they reach out to our neighbors in Pelham to get some guidance on where to get that assistance.
Good idea. Well, Peter, do you want to make the motion, and maybe Justin can help us with the wording, and we'll get something going to get the council?
Okay, I'll take a good stab at it here, and we'll see where we end up. But certainly, I'd like to move that our Parks, Recreation, and Trails Committee direct staff to write a report on the scope of washroom facilities throughout the parks and the Welland, I guess that's called the Welland Canal Trail, and provide feedback around where we have opportunity to install additional facilities, simultaneously while investigating grants that are available through upper levels of government.
Okay, it sounds good. Can I, David, just before I go to you, can I ask, well, Dave, you go first. David, you go first, and then I'll ask Dave Baldoni if he
and I'm open to any friendly amendments. That's.
I was going to, I don't know if we have to consider a friendly amendment if we're still pontificating on the exact wording, defer to Justin, but that's in essence what I want to offer. I'd add in the word that staff investigate, and then I'd end it, report back to council. But the concept I'd add into your otherwise very well worded motion, Peter, is I know, like, I'd specifically want staff to investigate porta potties, temporary portable washrooms, and also permanent facilities. Because I wouldn't be too impressed if they write back with it's $2,000 for a summer to throw one porta potty along wherever, and that's good enough. What certainly, I can't speak for anyone else, but my vision would be perhaps 2 more washroom facilities in, along, or adjacent to trails, or where trails meet parks, as the case may be. Ultimately, they'll have a better vision, but I'd like them to investigate both. Pelham certainly utilized both. Not that Pelham's the be all and end all, that's not my point, but both along the way, and then with the ultimate goal, and of course the grants come in for permanent, right? So that's where those opportunities exist. So I'd love, if they had, maybe it's, they can test porta potties and their usage in the first year or two and see which ones are most heavily used, and that's where you put the permanent ones, or whatever that happens to be. But to me, it's an inadequate concept if they're not looking and thinking at both, because porta potties don't need to be in a capital budget. That could that's a 3,000 or 4,000 line item in operating and won't trouble council. But, you know, permanent bathrooms that are of any quality are about $250,000. And that is where you're going to want some funding. And then as a last concept, I don't know if Thorold Council uses it much, but Pelham's approach and well, everywhere I've been CAO, their approach has been approve the concept, red circle it so that you don't go forward unless you get government funding. And then, of course, you're grant ready. Whenever someone does announce a grant program, you have council approval on a project that's good to go, and you don't do it unless you get grants. And that is the fastest way to succeed. So if any of those concepts are acceptable to you, Peter, then whether it's a friendly amendment or we're just still working on the wording, we could get there.
So before we go back, oh, go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
No, I'm totally agreeable on that collaboration. So thank you, David, for that. And if you could, Justin, if you could sharpen that into a motion, and I see your hand up, then that would, yeah.
Justin, just before we get to you, I just want to ask Dave Baldoni if he has any input. We might already have something that I don't know, maybe I should know, that's on the permanent washrooms. I'd like Dave's opinion into this and maybe what we should do and not do.
Yeah, thank you through you, Councillor. Yeah, we definitely look at possibilities, keeping in mind sanitary and water, like the sewer mains, tapping into those as well for potential locations moving forward. It's definitely a report. We'll come back to council with some of the information brought forth by this committee, and we could look at planning for future budgets.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, Justin.
So this is what I have, that council direct staff to report on adding washroom facilities, and then brackets, porta potties, temporary facilities, and permanent facilities along Thorold trails and parks, while investigating federal and provincial grants to help fund for these facilities.
Peter, you good with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good. I think I'm good with that. Yes.
Yeah. Dave, you good with that? I think you're a seconder.
I'd be pleased to be if that's available. Yeah, I just the last thing to the final wording is, I mean, report back, but I think the report's inadequate if it doesn't discuss the capital plan and either identify, like, are there bathrooms in the capital plan? Because if not, then respectfully, it's an inadequate 10 or 20 year capital plan. And if there are, then as it turns out, this is unnecessary. And in fact, there's already a vision. So I'd love that, both the motion and then the actual work product that will go to council to interact with the capital plan, because they're either in there or they're not. That's a very simple yes or no. And if they're not, then council alone gets to decide. But certainly, I think it would be pretty easy for them to conclude that, oh, we've just overlooked this and we're not even envisioning bathrooms in the next 20 years. Maybe that's not acceptable. Maybe it's not a 26 item, but I'm not okay with saying 20 years I'm not building a bathroom in this town.
Okay. Can you work something in there, Justin? Or
I think maybe Dave can take that as a direction and understanding of what is looking in the report. Would be my thoughts on that.
Okay. But I trust Dave. You good with that, David?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So I had a mover and a seconder, Peter and David. Mm-hmm. All those in favor? Opposed? I believe that's passed. Okay. All right. Dave Baldoni's on. He's on everything today. Here we go. So we'll start at 8.2 and Battle of Beaver Dams Park update. Dave, you're up.
Thank you, Councillor. Through you again to the committee. So some updates for Battle of Beaver Dams, and Jacob will be able to fill in the blanks where I might be missing. We've enlisted the contractor again to install the lights for Battle Beaver Dam, same contractor we used last year, that lit up the underside of the tree lighting through the park. He'll continue on those lights to the north side of the park, lighting up the 4 flags throughout the park. We have a special surprise going up on the fascia of the band shell. Some additional lighting up there. We've poured 1 pad already. It's 42 by about 15, and that's going to be utilized for our markets and events moving forward. I think Jacob has plans this year for a water truck for Canada Day. 2 more pads will be installed this coming week, the week we're in now, weather permitting, obviously. The excavation is to begin this week, and then the pour, weather permitting, will happen as well this week. I'm not sure if Jacob has any other updates right now.
I can jump in if you
We are
like, Dave.
moving forward. Yeah, we are moving forward with the recommended upgrades for Battle Beaver Dam Spartan. Jacob?
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, like Dave had mentioned, yeah, some of the pads are already been completed. We've also been working in-house with our public works team to install these pads, which that's a great benefit because that's saving on the cost of contracting it out and allowing us to basically stretch the budget item or the budget line further so we can install larger and a few more pads in the park as well too. So that's a big thank you goes out to the public works team for that. And then Dave's team in the parks have also been doing some of the prep work as far as moving some trees around in the park and relocating some things as well too. So thank you for that as well too. But yeah, like David said, everything's well underway in preparation for the first market. I know the market's a few items down on the agenda, so maybe I won't jump into that too much right now. But as far as the upgrades in the park go, we've also we're just waiting for the power upgrades to finish as well too. So those power grades are going to allow some of our vendors at Canada Day and the market to be able to run off hardwired electricity rather than running noisy or noxious generators in the park with people there as well too. So that work will be underway very soon. Just kind of waiting on word back from Hydro One as to whether or when they can pull power off the main pole, which unfortunately Hydro One's not super fast to get that done, but it's in the works and it has been for quite some time. So I have confirmation that it should be done before Canada Day. So very excited to see that happen as well too.
Great. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Dave. Anybody got any questions for either of them? Again, I can't see everyone. Is anybody's hand up or?
No one's
Good to
hand is
go.
up.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to 8.3 for an update. Pool and splash pad update. Looks like Dave again, and I think I'm just going to go to Jacob for the market next time. Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you. Through your counselor. Splash pads are slated to open up June 7th this year. It's quite early, but we're starting to get concerns and questions from the public. So, and the residents. So we're going to open them up June 7th. Splash pads were all inspected this year. No problems, no issues. Park staff did a great job getting them ready, getting them cleaned, and getting them inspected. Any repairs made. Pools opening this year, June 21st, on a modified schedule. So it's Saturdays and Sundays from 12 to 8, and then Monday through Friday from 5 to 9 for our public and lane swims. So our full schedule for the pool will open June 30th, and that'll be a full schedule run. Lessons, public swims, things like that. Typically when the kids are done school, high school, college, they can come out and swim daily, weekends. So that's sort of our schedule for this year.
Thank you. Any questions for Dave on that? Any hands, Justin, anywhere? Oh, Peter, go ahead. You're muted, Peter.
Just Dave, not an exact question on the splash pad and pools, but I'm just curious. The Confederation one, the one at Confederation, it's got the nice trail that goes all the way around it. Do we know how long that trail is? I'm just curious if we know. Somebody was asking me, they want to walk a certain distance and they don't know how long it is. Can we find it on the city website anywhere?
Through you, Mr. Chair, Councillor. I don't believe it's on the city website. I think I measured at one point, Peter. This is going back years ago, and I think it was 0.9 of a kilometer.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was doing some work. I had to do some work on the trail and some asphalt repairs, and I was looking at doing some improvements to the trail. I think it was 0.9 of a kilometer.
Thank you.
I can confirm that to the group, though,
Sure,
I-
maybe for next time, but I think this came up before, and I think that sounds pretty close. But if you come across it for the next meeting, that'd be great, Dave. Thank you. Any more questions? No? Okay, we'll move on to 8.4 and community market. Jacob, take it away.
Thank you, Councillor Sentence. Yeah, so as hopefully everyone's aware, because we've had quite a few ads rolling out lately, the first market will be next Wednesday, June 11th. So this will be our season opener for the market this year. We've got a great event planned this year with the opener. We have ABBA-Mania that'll be playing on stage as the main act from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We also have quite a few vendors that are signed up for this year already. We're at about 80% of the capacity that we were previous at the end of last season. So we're looking at about 25 vendors to start the market off this year. Typically throughout the market season, we see a couple more kind of sign up as the season goes on. Just kind of one of the things that we have come to expect with the market kind of starting and then ending and not going year round. But yeah, we have a great event planned. We have a lot of advertisements that have been going out. Call for everyone to please feel free to share any ads that they see on Facebook. We also recently picked up some lawn signs that'll advertise the market season dates. So if anyone specifically lives on a high traffic or visible corner and would like a little lawn sign to put on their front yard or anything like that, feel free to come by the Public Works. I have quite a few over there, and I'm planning on keeping just a couple just in case people pop by. But that's just advertising the market for the season. Aside from the season opener, we've got quite a good entertainment lineup planned for this season. Basically every third week we'll have a headliner band on the stage, and then each of the 2 weeks in between those weeks we'll have the Circle Patio, where we'll have a small acoustic band that'll be joining us before the Bree Band performs on stage. Overall, we've got 12 dates planned for this year for the market. The regular Wednesdays will stretch from June 11th until August 27th, 5 to 9 in the park. And then we'll have our season finale Saturday, September 13th. And that'll be more of an afternoon event stretching from 12 p.m. until 4 p.m. With 2 big bands on that day as well, too. So yeah, we're really trying to pump up the entertainment throughout the season. We find that's a very good draw. We've also worked very hard to get some more farmers out to this season to sign up as vendors, as well as some more food options as well, too, for people, seeing that that's quite a good draw as well. If there's any kind of specific questions that anyone has to any aspect of the market, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Or if anyone wants anything more generally touched on as well too, feel free to ask, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. I can tell you these guys do an amazing job. Dave, Jacob, the whole crew. So I'm looking forward to it. Does anybody have any questions for Jacob? Any hands up, Justin? No?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the update, Jacob.
You're welcome.
We'll
Thank you
move
very much.
on to round table now, and I'll start with who I can see, and then we'll move on from there. So I don't want to touch anything on my computer and then lose everybody. So I'm going to start with Bob. Anything? You're good? You're muted. Okay. I think he said he's good. Okay, if not, just raise your hand and we'll come back to you. Okay, Bob? What do I got? You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. I got Jeff on my screen.
I'm good.
Okay. Who's next? George?
Nope, all good here.
Justin, can you call out the people so I don't miss anybody? I can't.
I got Sean.
Nothing here.
Thank you,
Rich.
Sean.
I'm good as well.
David.
I just want to say I'm looking forward to the first farmers market. That in 2 seasons, it's gone and gotten better than the neighbor to the south and west. And they've had a market for a lot longer than I've been in employment, but like really Thorold staff. It's a whole community thing, but you have to start with staff, and I got like really nailing it on that. I actually look forward to it. And I've got a 22-year-old daughter who lives here, and she goes with her friends. So you actually have it's appealing to young 20s, not just those of us who've lost their hair and are gray. So that's how you know that's community vitality. It's how you know you're winning. So I do want to give the shout out on that and just say I've got a little bit of a professional envy
All right.
and deep respect.
Good. Thank you, Dave.
I got Cheryl next.
I don't have anything. I'm just so excited we talked bathrooms. Thank you.
And
I knew she would be. That's good.
I have Joe on next.
I'm good. By the way, thank you for the update on the pads and whatnot at Battle Beaver Dams. This was one thing that I was interested in tonight.
And last is Peter.
I am all good too. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I just want to add one thing myself, and this will be from myself, just so everybody knows here, we're Parks and Trails. So a lot of calls come in May for grass cutting and things aren't getting done and everything. We are on it. My idea, Dave's idea, is next year to announce it, but our students don't start to the middle of, they're ready to go by about the third week of May, and that's because they're at school, they can't start. So we are working on grass, we are working on fields. Dave is working tirelessly. It will come. It's a little bit of catch up by the time they can go, but if you're talking to people, let them know, we're on it, and it'll get done. That's all. Okay, next meeting is July 7th, and if there's no further business, I'll adjourn the meeting. What are we? 7:37. Oh, Peter, you got a question? Oh, just a bye?